Once upon a time, video games were defined by walls. Not literal walls, but digital ones. The barriers separating players depending on the console they owned. If you had a PlayStation, you couldn't play with your friend on Xbox. If you had a Nintendo console, your community was limited to others who had made the same choice. Gaming was a divided landscape, where friendship groups were shaped not only by taste but by hardware.
Fast forward to today, and those walls are starting to fall. Crossplay, the ability to play together across platforms, has changed the way gamers think about communities. Instead of being split between ecosystems, crossplay allows people to stay united no matter where they play. It represents one of the biggest cultural shifts in gaming over the past decade. In this video, we're going to break down what crossplay really means. We'll look at its evolution, from early experiments to mainstream adoption. We'll analyze how it has reshaped communities and created new forms of engagement. We'll also look at its challenges because while crossplay is powerful, it's not without issues. The real question we'll try to answer is this: is crossplay just a technical feature, or is it the foundation of a new, more connected gaming culture?
Crossplay might feel like a recent phenomenon, but the desire for it has been around for decades. For most of gaming history, consoles acted like closed gardens. Each company, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, wanted to keep players inside their own ecosystem. If you bought a PlayStation game, you were part of a PlayStation world, separate from Xbox or PC.
The earliest seeds of crossplay came from PC gaming. Multiplayer games like Counter-Strike or World of Warcraft were already platform agnostic in a sense. If you had a computer, you could join the same servers as anyone else. But when consoles entered the multiplayer space in the early 2000s, the fragmentation became obvious. The first major glimpse of true crossplay came with Rocket League in 2015. Psyonix allowed PC and PlayStation players to compete in the same matches, something almost unheard of at the time. Then Fortnite in 2017 exploded onto the scene, forcing platform holders to reconsider their policies. Gamers didn't just want crossplay, they demanded it. Stories of friends unable to play together because one had an Xbox and the other a PlayStation went viral on social media. The pressure on companies became too big to ignore. Sony initially resisted, citing security and quality concerns, but eventually gave in when Fortnite's community proved unstoppable. Microsoft, eager to differentiate itself, embraced crossplay more openly, even partnering with Nintendo on campaigns that promoted playing together. From that moment, the dominoes began to fall. Today, crossplay is no longer an exception, it's an expectation. Games like Call of Duty, Warzone, Minecraft, and Apex Legends have crossplay baked in from day one. What started as a niche experiment is now a defining part of multiplayer culture. The power of crossplay lies in its ability to unite people. Gaming has always been social, but in the past, hardware acted as a dividing line. With crossplay, that line disappears. Now, communities can form naturally, independent of platform choices.
Take Fortnite. Its success isn't just about gameplay or aesthetics, it's about accessibility. Friends could squad up regardless of whether they were on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, or even mobile. That universality created one of the largest gaming communities in history. The game became more than entertainment, it became a digital meeting place. Crossplay also encourages diversity. When you remove platform barriers, players from different backgrounds, regions, and age groups are more likely to encounter each other. This broadens perspectives and strengthens communities. For example, Minecraft servers became digital playgrounds where creativity had no boundaries. Whether someone was on console, PC, or phone, they could contribute to shared worlds. Streamers and content creators also benefit from crossplay communities. A game with cross-platform functionality ensures larger, more engaged audiences. Viewers can watch their favorite creators and instantly join matches regardless of their device, which fuels a stronger bond between creators and their fan base. Clans, guilds, and esports teams thrive under crossplay too. In games like Call of Duty, Warzone, teams are no longer restricted by console. This not only boosts competition, but also expands the scope of online friendships. A player on PS5 can now team up with their cousin on Xbox Series X, their colleague on PC, and their younger sibling on Nintendo Switch. It's community in its purest form.
Climate change affects not just our environment, but also human lives, agriculture, and wildlife.
The biggest challenge is balancing platforms. PC players, for example, often have significant advantages: higher frame rates, better graphics, faster input with keyboard and mouse. When matched against console players, this imbalance can lead to frustration. Some games, like Warzone, try to solve this by implementing input-based matchmaking, where mouse and keyboard players are grouped together. But it's not a perfect system. Cheating is another issue. PC platforms are more open, which makes them more vulnerable to hacks and mods. For console players, running into cheaters online can be a huge turnoff, and it's one of the main criticisms of crossplay. In fact, some console gamers disable crossplay entirely to avoid this problem. There are also business challenges. While Microsoft has leaned into crossplay as a marketing strength, Sony has sometimes been accused of gatekeeping access. Reports surfaced that developers had to pay extra fees to enable crossplay on PlayStation, which sparked debates about whether crossplay was truly free. Finally, crossplay requires significant technical infrastructure. Servers must be robust enough to handle diverse inputs, connections, and network requirements across platforms. Smaller studios sometimes struggle with these demands, which limits the number of indie games that can realistically offer crossplay. Crossplay is more than just a technical feature. It's a cultural shift. It has transformed gaming from isolated ecosystems into a shared experience, where players are defined less by the hardware they own and more by the connections they make. By breaking down walls, crossplay has allowed friendships to thrive, communities to expand, and games to become global meeting points. At the same time, it has forced companies to rethink their strategies and face new challenges around fairness, cheating, and infrastructure. The truth is, crossplay is not optional anymore. For many gamers, it's the new standard. A multiplayer game that doesn't offer crossplay feels outdated, disconnected from the expectations of today's audience. The future of gaming is not about who owns what console, but about how we connect across them. And as technology improves, the dream of a seamless, universal gaming community feels closer than ever. So the question is, what crossplay game has impacted you the most? Was it Fortnite, Warzone, Minecraft, or maybe something smaller but just as meaningful? Share your experience in the comments, because at the end of the day, crossplay is all about community and your voice is part of it.